Hello, this is a new phone and a lot of new stuff, but I won't get into it. It's weird, where the actual lens is like on a completely different side than my other old iPhone. Welcome back to my channel. I was working this morning and as I'm feeling better, thinking more about the more positive side of my past 10 years. Yeah, I guess I'll share like a little more detail, and a lot of it, like I've said before, is just for my own record of myself, a video diary, but also I do want to do stuff publicly more. Really want a survivor group for gangs and sex abuse here where I live. That's going to take a bit longer since we have so much of it, but I gave up THC. I didn't even know it was Lent, and then I just feel like so much better coping in other ways with my PTSD. So yeah, I'm still taking CBD though, which is hemp. And back to the topic of America. Speaking of hemp, you guys, there's so much, and I can sympathize, I can understand how it feels so out of reach, how the concept of America's version of freedom feels so out of reach, where you're both entitled to freedoms, but you're also dutiful in eliminating or altering tyrannical forms of government. That's a big ask for the average person, especially with the need to survive, the cost of living, and the cost legally when you actually try to exercise your rights to the full extent of the Declaration of Independence. And again, it's my stance that the Constitution is almost nothing compared to the Declaration of Independence. It does not exist without the Declaration of Independence. It contradicts the Declaration of Independence constantly. It doesn't offer any law protecting the citizen looking to alter or eliminate tyrannical government. And it really goes off in a bunch of directions that aren't of origin. So I wrote a little list. I'll just show it. Just like wanted to make a video. There's a lot for me to talk about. Firstly, on the topic, where are all the other revolutionary ancestors? I still follow a bunch of podcasts that are unique, and so I'll like to know what they're thinking about and talking about. For example, Drinking Bros. These are like GWOT veteran podcast, whether he likes it or not. Cleared Hot, which has like really a lot of amazing military interviews, and I won't get into my favorites right now, but they only exist there. Ironclad, that's another one. A random one came up, but it was like too gross, and you can tell that they are really using Dan Crenshaw Dan Crenshaw's psychedelic medicine for veterans, too much. They're obviously fucking high. A lot of them are like, you can tell they're regressing like children. They're not actually responding to the nightmare that we're in and their children are going to be in, because I don't know what anybody thinks they're retiring on. I'm still not quite sure. And I really appreciate one of Dan Crenshaw's last interviews as congressman. I don't exactly know when he leaves office. I'm not wasting time to Google it. But he, in an argument, was like, nobody's retiring at the time they think they're going to retire. And in 30 years, when, let's say, these 50-year-old men, 40-year-old men get to be 70, 80, 60, yeah, I'm not really sure what they think is going to happen. A lot of, yeah, again, a lot of them have drinking too much psychedelic medicine and whatever, that's their journey. But that what was really bothering me is like, I watched so much of them these past 5-6 years. And I'm like, why don't, like, if you guys have revolutionary ancestry, one, why don't you talk about it? Two, like, it has a genocide against original Americans, revolutionary descendants, been so bad that like the majority of GWOT veterans don't have revolutionary ancestry. That's like my concern. Oh, Sean Ryan has been another really good one. I really like a good Sean Ryan interview. There's nothing like it. And he got like appropriately angry. Nobody else has gotten appropriately angry. Now, when I respond to something, I get really stressed out responding to. And so Andy Stumpf decided to lie about me, call me crazy in episode 438, 35 minutes in, with another, well, he's actually, I think, active duty reserves, Mr. Richard High, who is responding to severe neglect of sex abuse with children in Buffalo, New York, which has been good to watch. But the whole episode was supposed to be about the Epstein files, ending child sex trafficking, and they're so selfish. He lied about me, called me crazy, and then he didn't mention my name. I responded because I wanted people to know who I was. I'm your witness. What's up? All the other witnesses would also like to fucking come forward. Where's the path for them to do that? Psych, there isn't one, because if the Fed and these nonprofits cannot control their narrative, they're actually not interested in rescuing anybody. So that's how angry I get about it. And I do get accusatory when I get angry. I'm hoping that they do start to see that they need to do real law, like the Relocation Act for victims of gang, for family members. I'm losing my fucking ability to speak here because it makes me so angry. For example, this is something Deliver Fund could have done, still can do. This is something Veterans for Child Rescue should have done, still can do. This is something any other law enforcement or nonprofit in the space of human trafficking rescue or child sex abuse prevention could do. Just start the fucking conversation. We need a Relocation Act. It is a majority of the time children are molested by a family member. It is a majority of the time it's allowed to happen by the family or covered up by the family, because that's the pattern we've been in. Relocation Act, for it. Making orphanages great again, for it. So anyway, you can go watch episode 438 of Cleared Hot Podcast with Richard High if you want to see them cowardly neglect any real conversation on the issue. Anyway, it's still better than nobody bringing it up at all, which is also the majority. Now, let's go into my solution-based, fun political things that, because I was so angry in all my old videos, I put them on private because I get gnarly. But this is one of my favorite ideas that I came up with at Fond du Lac Tribal, which is a really lovely community college in Duluth, even though they're still practicing racism and being psychopaths, thinking that men can just decide to be women or vice versa. So like, they need to stop doing that with everybody else. Unless you're a hermaphrodite, you're a man or you're a woman or you have a mental illness, which is sad because that mental illness most likely is from child sex abuse. Shout out to, I think his name is Alexandria from Ohio, but I learned of him through Kill Tony podcast, whatever it's called. I think it's just called Kill Tony, period. yeah, she had an amazing comedic set, talked about how she was transgender because her dad raped her. And Alexis is actually what I think her name was. Um, and admitted that it's obvious, it's a mental illness. My dad raped me. So yeah, I have boobs now and I dress like this. And so I really appreciate that person. Just want to say that there's thousands of more examples, unfortunately. Yep. And I really do want to clarify, because I came to this space trying to talk to the nonprofits here where I live. It's like, yeah, you can explore your identity, you can explore boyish things, cool. But you cannot deny that so many children are identifying as another gender because they've been sexually abused. And the nonprofits here where I live completely ignore it. So fuck you. Anyway, hope you get better. So, and then Fond du Lac as well, they just want to keep blaming white people. Stop it. And we'll get to that because I made a space for it. But this is what I came to, and this is what I really want to see happen. I want to see every vote. You have to be a citizen, or at least born here. So this is not for naturalized citizens, just because there's been so much fraud and abuse by them and onto them. So it's both for their protection and for our protection, for actual citizens' protection. So, and really just to like organize data, I want to see every vote generate $1. So like in any local election, mainly federal, because I understand maybe local, that would be harder. In a lot of small towns, the economies are so small that like maybe it would be a big ask, but I don't think so. I think this could be across the board. I want the vote to generate $1 so the voter can track the life of their dollar. Their vote has meaning. It's worth at least $1. And I want to see that happen yesterday. I think everybody would love it, because then your kids, when they turn 18, it's like, go vote. They get to watch that dollar, and maybe gets regenerated every election. Maybe as they get older, interest gets grown on it as they vote more, Ooh, I like that. Yeah, maybe interest would grow the more they vote. You'd get more interest on your dollar vote. So, yeah, that'd be cool. We'll end with the lies about slavery. Excuse me. So, back to what I was doing this year at Fond du Lac. Had to drop out. If you watched the other video, you'd see, excuse me guys, you'd see it was because I did find my dad's gang, the Warlocks, and the Epstein files, and it was just too much. I like really wanted to make sure that as I had it, I was like calling everybody I could and seeing who like would actually respond. Can tell you Dan Crenshaw's office picked up the phone. I can tell you that no federal agency was interested in responding to their failure or their actual fucking job. So anyway, again, I'm going to get just angry about things, but that's the process I'm going through. Anyway, so before that though, as I wrapped up my semester being like, whoop, that's all I can physically and mentally handle, I was writing a paper doing an argument defining a well-regulated militia versus a gang. And I had no idea that current understanding, like for half of the country, is they think that the Constitution means a well-regulated militia is for more of the state, that they think it means it's for more National Guard. No. The whole point of the Declaration of Independence is the individual, fucking the individual, and then it's the citizenry, the people. And so obviously a well-regulated militia is for the people and the citizenry against a tyrannical government, the ultimate check and balance. So it's never been for the fucking National Guard. It's been something that's meant for every individual. So anyway, I didn't think I was so angry, but here I am. So I was talking to a former Marine veteran. His name is Joe Allen, whatever. There's probably dozens of them, so I hope he doesn't care. But his idea was like, he was like breaking it down for me. He was like, well, people have Crime Watch. That's kind of a well-regulated militia. And then it was his or my idea. But we both liked it. Oh my God, people should be able to form their well-regulated militia as an LLC. So all members of the public, if they're having a mission statement, they have required leadership. And if they're all public, bam, get your well-regulated militia. I love that. It's like my favorite idea, especially because we have so much foreign influence that a lot of people are falling victim to, whether they know it or not. Myself included. I mean, the internet, we have no borders physically or technologically, so what a fucking mess. And that now will end on slavery. God, I can't wait for this fucking part to be over in my lifetime. White people were enslaved in North Africa more than black people were ever enslaved in America. The Arabic Caliphate ran massive slave trade routes from the Middle East, mainly through North Africa, to West Africa. And the kings of Africa were some of the largest slave owners in all of human history of other black slaves. And then later on, especially in the Barbary Wars, of white people, including Americans, which is why that's our first war, the Barbary Wars in North Africa. I want to say it was closer to the end of the 1800s, but I feel like it might be mid 1800s. I don't really know. Yeah, that's like the end of the conversation now. Oh, I'm so fucking irritated about people blaming shit on white people. Like, be aware of your own people. And like, it's funny because I'll like glean from popular culture often because I don't want it to be a blind spot, where I guess like people are making fun of the no kings thing because black people have the we were kings, like, what is it, slogan? That the word, slogan? And it's like, yeah, you were slave owning kings. That's why, and then you had too many children, so you fell in 1300. You were falling as Europe was coming out of their Black Plague. And so, yeah, I feel like that's like good. I have so much more. I really don't want to say anything else about Andy Stumpf because it's going to make me so angry because he knows he was so wrong. I know where I was wrong, sort of, but like, it's either that there are nonprofits rescuing people from human trafficking and that the police are helping those people access those resources, or it's that the nonprofits are helping only certain people from human trafficking. They certainly aren't acknowledging the gang pandemic, which makes me think that they are both entirely fraudulent, both Deliver Fund and Veterans for Child Rescue. And if you don't believe me, why don't you call your local police department? Why don't you call your local FBI office? Why don't you call, except for you really can't, call Deliver Fund or Veterans for Child Rescue and ask them, especially if you are a victim of gangs trying to get away from them, how do I enter the program for help? The answer will be, in most cities and states, nothing. There's just, maybe some people have some things, but like, no. What they're going to do is they're going to deflect to a different nonprofit that is just fucking fraudulent. This will make me so angry, and this is why I almost didn't mention it, but I can control myself better now because I've, you know, exercised a lot of the anger out of me. Anyway, so it'll be interesting in the political debates to come in the next presidential debate, which I think then if the election is in 28, it's like a year before people are propping up their candidates. It'll probably be 2 years now though, because I'm not exactly sure what people are going to say to the Epstein files. This is where I hope the larger conversation circles back to reality, and that's gang trafficking, familial gang trafficking. That is the majority of it. So it'll be interesting what these people say then. It'll be interesting what happens. Vacuums of power can provide so much opportunity, but they can also be so dangerous because when there's no leadership, but this is the yin and the yang, when there's no leadership, people tend to rise to power. So I hope other victims come forward. It would be amazing to see an Epstein victim, like a real one who wanted to help other victims, not just accept whatever deal they were offered, and they were offered plenty of deals. So yeah, I'll end my video there. Thank you for watching.